Thank you for joining us for Chatting in the Void, a conversational podcast hosted by Cthulhu Tilly and Hallik. Welcome to Chatting in the Void, episode 24. We're doing this again, and it's exciting. I'm happy about it. But yeah, how was your day?
Good. Hold on. Let me just retweet. Okay. I had to undo the tweet and be like, hey guys, we're back. Technical difficulties. I'm over. Because this is a new record, Tully.
Yeah?
This is a new record. We just started the stream and it's been 20 minutes and we haven't done shit. That's a brand new one for you.
That is true. That is a new record.
Yes, sir.
I am pretty tired, and I'm having ear problems today, so if I ask you to repeat something, sorry. Yeah, I've been having ear problems for like a while now. They're like on and off. I think I'm probably going to try to go see a doctor, but it's been rough and annoying.
Fucking god. If you have to go, if you convince yourself that you have to go see a doctor, then you know it's bad.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Tully.
Yeah.
Oh my god, well, we're live, we're back at it again.
We are.
You sound a little down, Tully.
I'm just tired. I'm just really tired.
What did you do today? Tell me. Why is it that
I actually see, that's the funny thing, and that's actually probably the worst thing. I did like nothing today. To be quite honest, I played like one game of League of Legends, and that is like everything I did today.
I would tell you to drink a coffee, but then I remember it.
I don't drink coffee.
Not only that, but you drink Red Bull like it's fucking water. So
it's not Red Bull. I don't drink Red Bull actually.
What was it?
Also,
Mountain Dew, right?
Mountain Dew, yeah. Yeah.
Because that's a lot better,
Yeah. Mountain Dew is actually arguably worse for you.
It is.
It's banned in some countries because of stuff.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. So, what happened to you this week? Anything particular you want to talk about before we go into our podcast topics that I wrote down?
So what happened to me this week is I worked a lot and I went rock climbing twice, which was really fun and very nice and relaxing. And I'm sore. And then today, I got woken up at 11. I didn't go to bed until 3 a.m. last night.
Okay. Relatable,
and,
but go on.
Yeah. And today I got woken up at, 11 a.m., which is early for me, by the way, on a weekend. 10:40 actually. I got woken up by my parental unit coming in to tell me we have guests coming over in 20 minutes. Like that was the thing, was they were gonna be there at 11 and it's 10:40, and I'm like, little more forewarning next time, maybe. But,
yeah.
I just didn't interact with them,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you had a rough week at work. You had to deal with family and shit.
Yeah. I had a long week at work, and it was a lot.
It's this man's idea of a relaxing and fun time to go climb a bunch of fucking rocks.
That is correct. That is my idea of a relaxing, fun time.
This is what we're dealing with today. I
guess.
Yes. Well, that's what we're dealing with you the whole podcast.
That's just me, and the podcast is, hi, my relaxing things are what makes everyone else want to die. That's what I like to do.
Yeah. So I have no idea how or why I am even friends with you. So let's move on to a topic we can both kind of talk about. That doesn't involve dying.
Yeah.
Maybe. So Tully, did you get
Yes.
to play Overwatch 2? That's what I want to know. Have you tried
God,
playing it yet?
I have. I'm so mad. I do
Mad?
have thoughts though. Yeah, well, I'm mad that I can't have a full opinion on it because I haven't actually played it, but I do have thoughts. I have things to say.
I will say I have played it. I have played it around 10 to 15 hours or so in the past couple weeks. I can tell you right now, it's fucking Overwatch 1. You guys are fucking... You shut the fuck up. It's just Overwatch 1, man.
It's not, though.
It's the same shit. It's the same shit.
How much did you play Overwatch 1?
Same. I just fucking told... Oh, Overwatch 1. Yeah. I want to say around 200 to 300 hours.
Okay. Because now, of course, not to discount that, because that's quite a bit of time. But my friends who played Overwatch 1 religiously... And they're still playing Overwatch 2. It must be said. Like they're not
they have no fucking choice,
boycotting Overwatch 2. All of them are like, this is so different. I don't like it. The changes are meh to bad. Like, yeah, they're not very happy with it.
Okay, so your friends, to add some context to this whole thing, your friends are like high MMR players that just sweat all day playing Overwatch, right? Basically.
I mean, they don't sweat all day, but yeah, they're higher MMR. A lot of them have. I mean, like for example, I think I have a total of like a couple hundred hours in the game, and one of my friends has like 2,000 plus hours just on Mercy.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, your friends are like. We're talking about like top 10 percentile of player base here that like
probably
Overwatch for 200 hours. Yeah. You and I, Tully, we're not that people. You and we're people who go hang out after work or after a long day. Yeah. And then a group of friends are like, hey guys, let's play Overwatch. Anybody want to play Overwatch? Yeah. And we just hop in, play Overwatch, fucking do whatever because we have zero fucking coordination whatsoever. And then what? And then we have fun. And then we close the game, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So that is what most of the people do with Overwatch. Most of the player base is just casual, hop in, have no fucking clue what a competitive meta is, and then we get out and we say, that's a good time. That's a good time. We had fun. And
that is correct.
And just to add a little bit more context to this conversation, let's remember that in a previous podcast episode we talked about how Overwatch is such a shit competitive sport to watch and for the viewer. All right. So we're not gonna go over the whole thing, but long story short, we both agreed Overwatch competitive never got its chance to naturally develop into a competitive scene, and instead got like millions of dollars pumped in by Blizzard. Yeah. Hoping that everything was going to just work out. But we did agree that what we came out with in that conversation was that when Overwatch is played as just a casual game, you hop in, have fun with your friends, and get out. And this is a hee hee ha ha, look at the funny Reinhardt, make the enemy Mercy fly all over the place, Yeah. Then it's a good game. So when I say it's the same fucking game, I say it from that point of view, from the perspective of a casual player, of somebody who plays 100 to 200 hours in like a year because his or her friends play, ask them to hop in and have a few games here and there, Yeah. So
now,
as the large majority of the people that play Overwatch, I'm saying, or from that point of view, I'm saying it's the same fucking game.
Right? Yeah. I do agree with you there. The one thing that has frustrated me, of course, is the number of players in each game. Well, that's partially because I've been busy and also partially because my friends who are playing, who I want to play the game with, we used to have a 6-stack and now we have a 5-stack. And so I'm busy, right? And then I show up and they're all 5 of them are already in a lobby together. And so I can't join anymore. because I'm always the last one to show up because of my schedule and my life. And so that is one thing that I find frustrating about that particular change, is the fact that part of the reason that I haven't been playing, or I haven't gotten the opportunity to play, is because, quite honestly, playing Overwatch 2 alone sounds horrible.
It sounds so depressing.
Yeah, and very unfun for me. And playing it with my friends is just not possible because they're in a 5-stack usually. There are already 5 of them playing.
You know what it sounds to me like you need, Tuli?
What?
You need new friends.
Yeah, I need more friends. I'm working on it. You need
more or new friends.
That's why I don't know if Yume is watching the stream right now, but that's why I added Yume on Discord, is because I'm like, I just need more people to talk to.
I have the Nox, Yeah, I did a couple collabs with her. Her group of friends also plays Overwatch. I'm playing Overwatch with her group of friends. Yeah, because they asked me if I want to play Overwatch. I'm like, yeah, let's fucking play Overwatch. Unlike someone that I know. So we should get you in there, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry that I yelled to the mic there. I got a little triggered.
Yeah. I can't even tell when you're yelling because I do this thing with my headphones. So I'm good. I do this thing with my headphones. I have my right ear off so that I can hear myself speak very well. And I can do that and moderate my own volume better. And then I have it on my left ear, but my left ear is the ear right now that's been having the most problems. And so like when you get loud, it's just like kind of like it's just a little more tinny. That's all I can tell, because it's like tinny in my left ear.
I do that a lot though, so that's why I have like a noise gate, but I think I did it so fast that the noise gate didn't catch up there. So
the noise gate couldn't catch up. Yeah, I did see you spike in because I have my Streamlabs open right now, right? And so I can see like the audio in the Streamlabs, and I did see you spike pretty high there, but it's fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Editor's note: 13 minutes, around the start of 30 minutes, that's when the spike is, so you can like take it out.
Good to know. I can add a noise gate there. In my audio editing. Anyways,
so
yeah,
new friends for Tilly.
Yeah, new friends for Tilly, and I'm taking. I'll have a what is it? The Google. You can do like a form, a Google form now for free.
Okay.
Just people, here, I'll have do you want to be my friend? Fill out this form.
It's like those girlfriend boyfriend application forms. Is that like?
Yeah, exactly. Only it's just a Be Tilly's friend application.
Nice.
But yeah, no, that's I'm glad that you enjoyed playing it. I hope at least.
I had fun.
But yeah, I need to.
And I mean it from like the nicest way when I say it is just still the same game, because it feels the same, it plays the same. And I personally think that these changes that they did, like to heroes like Bastion, for example, right?
Yeah.
Well, he is one of the most chained heroes in the entire of the new patch.
Right.
I think those are good changes. When I see them do this, especially to like characters like Bastion, I think it's more important to them now that the competitive scene for Overwatch is a fucking shit show and a dumpster fire that they can no longer control because they have basically abandoned it. I think these changes that they're doing are for the majority of the player base, which are those casual players that just hop in, try to have fun, and get out. Right. I am sure that eventually what will happen is they will let things settle down, and then they'll start doing like competitive balance patches and so on once people start figuring things out, because it's still very early into the release of the Overwatch 2, quote unquote.
But I mean, like they've already started doing some balance patches. They had mentioned some balance patches really in season 2 is when they're going to try to hit those harder. But the one thing that I do remember that I saw is, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but there was actually like some drama around it, because on release, they basically disabled Torbjorn and Bastion because they were bugged and broken. Like they were really strong and also broken, also bugged. But
Torbjorn is no longer locked, I think. Or neither is Bastion.
Yeah, Torbjorn and Bastion are now back in the game. I think they're back in the game as of sometime last week. But
in ranked to be more specific.
Yeah. No, I think they were disabled in the entire game.
No, because I remember playing Torbjorn with a friend. So
yeah, Torbjorn has been unlocked for a couple of weeks.
Okay,
like 3 or 4 weeks. But upon release, they locked Torbjorn and Bastion entirely from the game. Like they just were not playable. Not just in ranked, but also in norms. And then Bastion, I think they took longer to patch, if I remember correctly. I don't know fully. I haven't been keeping 100% up with it, but I think that is the case. I just remember the Discord, my Discord friends group being like annoyed when Bastion and Torbjorn were allowed back into the game.
I don't think Bastion's that bad. It is way less annoying to deal with a Bastion now.
Yeah,
than it used to be.
I think they did a lot to try to make it better, but I just still, I mean, I hope that he has interactive gameplay now. I don't know. I haven't played him or played with any Bastions or anything, obviously. So, but yeah, I hope that they stick with that because that was one of my biggest complaints about Overwatch 1 and Bastion. Was the fact that Bastion was literally just left-click simulator. Like, that was his whole thing.
He doesn't have his front shield anymore. And he has this, his ult is changed now, too, to be, it's just like an artillery strike kind of thing that you can dodge as long as nobody's preventing you from.
Well, they removed his shield a long time ago.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, that's
and
the
gave
thing.
him a
I haven't
heal.
played in fucking forever. Yeah. No, but he doesn't have the heal either now.
That's good.
Instead, he had like a grenade little thing. I think that got changed again. I don't know. But he has been a hero that has been constantly changed throughout the time.
Yeah.
You know.
I think
every time that I would like hop in and watch like a little bit of Overwatch, I would see this some fucking new thing happening to Bastion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think they had a really hard time balancing him because, like, originally they were like, Bastion is your glass cannon. You sit him in the center of your team and you protect him. But then the problem is that he was too immobile as a glass cannon, and in a game with so much mobility, you could just one-shot him, as a lot of the champions.
It's not the only. That's not the only problem. It's like what do you do now in like in the new game mode, right? Where you have to like the push game mode, where like in that sense, like immobile heroes or heroes that just have to sit still don't do so well, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I like that there are new game modes too, is because these like quote unquote not meta heroes can have like a little bit of time to shine now. Like tanks that don't necessarily like require you to defend a point, or are better like in the more like in a retake or in a more aggressive kind of scenario. I think those tanks are seeing a lot more play now, and same with other types of DPS. But the whole thing is like when Torbjorn and Bastion came out, they were the turret heroes, right? You put the turret down, you sat there, you defended the point, and that was all you fucking did, right?
Yeah.
But I think they have. Like you mentioned, they have definitely agreed that Overwatch did not become a game that is that like that, right? They don't want to promote you just sitting there and camping people in a corner, right?
Yeah, and I mean, why would they want to promote that really campy play style? It's super unfun, it's super uninteractive, and like the biggest problem is that not only was it unfun and uninteractive, but it was successful. Like for a long time. For a long time, one of the most successful things you could do in like mid to low elo was Bastion, Mercy, Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and the Mercy just keeps their health topped up. The Reinhardt protects the Bastion and the Bastion murders the fuck out of everybody. But the problem is that the Bastion doesn't murder the fuck out of everybody by being good at the game. They murder the fuck out of everybody simply by sitting in a corner and holding down left click at a point. And then you walk up and you die. And the only way to counter that was by adding a bunch of other things into the game that made it really unbalanced. And so it was like they had a really hard time. They had a really hard time, especially because he was like his whole identity was around that rapid fire, super high damage hit scan.
He was a turret. That's the whole thing. He was a turret. That's how the hero began. And when Overwatch first came out, it was Bastion, and then he became a turret, and then that was it. That's all he did.
Yeah, and then they gave Bastion the ability to move. That was a bad decision. They took that away real fast. Yeah, but like originally when they gave it to him, it was a bad decision. They gave him a speed debuff, so he was slower. I think what they did now, in turret form.
I think what they did now is that he can go into tank turret mode, so he can be a turret and move, but he doesn't have the same DPS. He has like half the fire rate that he used to have in turret mode.
That's good.
Yeah, so I don't know. He feels like a more fun hero to play now. But moving on to the next thing, let's not talk about balance because again we're not pros and we're not game designers. A lot of people are complaining about the prices of cosmetics now because they took away the loot boxes, right? It was so funny to me. I was in a stream, or maybe I was in a Discord call. I can't remember exactly where I heard this, but I heard someone complain, and I almost lost my shit, but I tried to keep calm as best as I could. I heard somebody complain that they miss the loot boxes because at least with loot boxes you could get stuff.
Right.
What's going on right now is that the prices on one like Overwatch skin is anywhere between like $15 to $20 or something, sometimes even more. I think I wasn't even looking because I honestly do not give a fuck about the price.
Right.
But they were complaining that it's too expensive to buy a skin, and they missed the loot boxes because at least with $20 worth of loot boxes, you were almost guaranteed to get something. Right. That was the argument. Right. And I'm like sitting here laughing and almost like called them out on their bullshit for that. It's like, I stayed quiet. Yeah. But that's what's happening. It's like if you want a legendary skin on Overwatch right now, it's like $20, and the battle pass is like a scam, right? But guess what, guys? Overwatch is free to play, and just because your diva doesn't look extra cute doesn't mean you can't play it. So guess what? Get the fuck over it, man. You can't afford the skins that you want. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares that your diva is not blue like you want it, or green, or whatever the fucking skin is going on? Yeah. Why are people complaining about this?
I will say. So I actually talked to somebody about this a while back. I think I don't know if it was in a Discord call or something else, but I actually am pretty sure. And here's the thing, like I understand they're mad because they can't have the things that they used to have that they want, right? But I think I know the bigger, like the root of the cause, which I'll delve a little bit into psychology here, which is a little bit interesting. But it's because the battle pass and the shop are less exciting, and because of gambler's fallacy and the idea of getting something good out of a loot box feels way better than getting something good out of a shop or out of a battle pass where you know what you're getting. The RNG component is so much more emotionally impactful. And so what I'm hearing from people is it's not about, and for the people that I talk with in about Overwatch are generally pretty, I want to say, cerebral people, and so they're pretty aware of their emotional state, and so they're aware, like, it's not because the battle pass is bad or because the battle pass is a ripoff or whatever. It's because it lacks the same emotional hit. It lacks the same emotional high of seeing the orange pop out of a loot box.
You don't get all those happy chemicals going on in your brain when you get a legendary from a loot box, right?
There's less endorphin release without the RNG component, because the RNG component builds it up and gets all these emotions going, and then it's either a letdown or a build up. But when you get successive letdown, the next build up is better. So it's like, it's a human psychology thing, but it's wacky.
here's the thing, and I'm not trying to like insult the
Yeah.
people that think that way, especially because most of them are young adults. But
Yeah.
guess what? The problem is there's a lot of people out there who cannot really control themselves very well when it comes to gambling.
Yeah.
Not just talking about gambling addicts, but I'm talking about like teenagers and little children.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
these are like young adults and teenagers is the group that Blizzard is targeting with Overwatch 2. Right? And there was a whole loot boxing regulation thing going on. A bunch of countries in the European Union banned loot boxes. The US is going over the whole thing too as well.
Yep.
Right? So there was definitely pressure. There was definitely pressure that politicians
100%.
put on gaming companies to stop the whole gambling thing, right? Because
100%.
when it comes to, it was the whole think of the children kind of agenda going on, and I kind of have to lean into yes, I agree. It's less exciting to not gamble for a skin, right? Instead of just straight up paying $20 for the skin that you want. But it is just all so fucking shallow. Bro, you don't even look at your own skin when you're playing Overwatch. You're looking at other people's skin.
Yeah.
There needs to be some level of self-awareness here, right?
Yeah. Well,
you have to understand that
skins in video games
matter.
Yeah, skins in video games have never been really like. Now, I don't know about Dota, but I think this is true for Dota too.
Okay.
In League, in Overwatch, and I believe in Dota, skins are only like 20% aesthetic.
What does that mean?
That's what people only get them 20% because of the aesthetic. The main reason that people get skins is for two things. One, individuality. They can be like, this is my skin that I always play on this champion, and I do that because I like this skin, sure. But it's not really about I like the skin. It's about not as many people have this skin as play base. So here I am playing this skin that makes me a little bit unique, a little bit special, right? So that's one thing. And then the other thing is the clout, I'll say. Like the fact, like a lot of times it is like, I have this skin because I'm good at the champion or I'm good at the hero. And and so I am showing that I am good by wearing this skin. Because sometimes that's the thing is like skins are sometimes given for high performance on a certain champion. For example, I have a Bard skin that I use quite regularly. Now I use it because it's freaking adorable. But the Bard skin that I have is specifically it's called a chroma, which is a recoloring of a certain skin. Okay. But it was given if you could get like 6 S's with Bard in like a 2-week period. And so I spammed nothing but Bard and got my 6 S's, which just means like I'm a generally above average player with Bard. But not very many people have that chroma on that skin because it was a short-term reward for doing well with that champion. So that's part of it too.
Because now you're no longer comparing apples to comparing apples to apples anymore. Yeah. Because now you're saying this skin you can only get by achieving a certain level of skill with the champion, right? But we were talking originally about Overwatch skins, which all can be purchased at some point or another. Right. There's no skill or achievement element to it.
You're right. There is no skill or achievement element to it. However, people don't see it that way.
Well, that's the people's problem, and you know what?
I agree.
That's the thing. It's like you're letting people need to fucking stop. That's the whole point.
Their perception,
just fucking stop.
No, I agree, but their perception of it is different than. If you listen, logic. I'll say in reality.
I'm gonna make it very fucking simple for everybody listening to the podcast. If you buy a $30 skin on Overwatch because you want to have others look at you and think that by them looking at you, you're a little bit more special than otherwise, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, nobody gives a shit. When was the last time? That you went into an Overwatch game, saw somebody with a cool skin, and was like, "Oh yeah, that person looks extra cool." And, I think that person is a lot better because not fucking once. So why do people even start thinking
the only time that a skin scares me is in League of Legends, and it's when I see the Blitzcrank skin. The reason why that one scares me is because it literally changes the skill shot look of the champion, and it makes it so much harder to see. And so that's the main skill shot of the champion, the hook, the scary hook of Blitzcrank, is harder to see. So it's literally like it's so bad that Blitzcrank, like, there are very few skins in League of Legends that are banned in pro play. Blitzcrank is banned in pro play because it changes the look of the skins, or changes the look of the champion so much that it actually makes it harder to see.
I would think that in pro play, you can just turn off other people's skins and just.
I would hope so, but apparently not. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's also a problem with, like, visual design. Like, in the equivalent of Blitzcrank in Dota is Pudge, right? That actually it's the other way around. Blitzcrank is based on Pudge, Pudge's hook, and all the skins of Pudge's hook just make it easier to notice. It's just straight up pay to lose. Like, the most inconspicuous skin for Pudge hook, I am fairly certain, is actually just the default look. Yeah. And even then, like, that one's still really fucking hard to miss. But going back to the whole conversation about Overwatch and the prices is the thing that we haven't really talked too much on. Is, guys, if you don't like it that Blizzard made the skins $20-$30, don't buy them. Why?
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts to me. And I am a player who's been, I played Overwatch 1 a long time ago, and I actually have, like, the currency that lets me buy a bunch of legendary skins. Like, right now I can log in and buy like 4 legendary skins, right, of my choice. I haven't bought a single fucking one because I don't care. I have my favorite heroes. I have the favorite heroes that I would like playing in certain, and I have a Reinhardt skin that's legendary, but I don't necessarily like it all that much, so I don't use it. Guys, Blizzard will keep selling you $20-$30 skins if you keep buying them. It's just that simple. This is just a straight up vote with your wallet kind of problem. And it used to be the case. We've spoken about this before in other episodes. We've spoken about loot boxes being predatory, but also having, like, a good side, in the sense that they allowed people to who cannot wail on a game and get a bunch of skins to enjoy the game for free regardless, because there is, like, the 1% of players who spend like $1,000 in Overwatch skins, right?
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about all this, but it's just for the majority of the people that play Overwatch, 80% of the people who are just casual players who log in, have fun, play maybe a few hours, and then get the fuck out. You don't need to spend $30 on a skin. Okay, sure, you like the game, you have a favorite hero, and then you feel like, okay, well, I like this game, I'm going to support Blizzard, I'm going to give them money. Sure. But you have to see it that way. And when you do, you start thinking to yourself, I start thinking to myself, well, yeah, I spent $30 on the skin, right? I've spent $30, $40, or maybe even bought 3 skins and spent $60. But that's the average price of your normal AAA game, and I'm content with that, and I'm fine. But the problem becomes when people tell me things or say things like, I miss loot boxes. because
Yeah.
I feel like I used to get more stuff from them.
Yeah.
But completely just disregarding the fact that for them, they might feel like they're getting value, which is absolutely untrue. It's a fucking Overwatch skin. There is zero value. Okay? But it's also a problem of you're disregarding the problem at hand. You're disregarding the people who have a gambling addiction. You're disregarding the kids who are gonna spend all their lunch money on Overwatch skins because they just want that next thing and they have no fucking self-control, right?
Yeah. I agree with you. And I do think that saying I miss loot boxes is kind of I don't want to say it's a dumb opinion, but it's one of those things like it's hard for me to agree with that opinion simply on the premise of like, all right, so you miss loot boxes, but you miss loot boxes probably because of the emotional validation of opening a loot box. Sure. All right, whatever. Mm. But more importantly than that, in my opinion, is like, okay, all of the skins are still purchasable using the in-game currency that you earn, correct?
I think not.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I think the only way of getting a skin is just to spend money.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But that's the thing.
That is like, different then. That is different then because in Overwatch 1, you earned currency and all of the champions' skins
I'm
were
lying.
purchasable.
There is a daily system. Yeah. Okay. But it's just that's the thing. I just logged into Overwatch and I play and I don't care. Okay, I completed a bunch of battle pass stuff.
Right.
I don't even look at that shit.
Right.
It's just
right.
Just hear me out for a moment. Okay. Go on. What is
hear me out. Mm-hmm. Would you feel okay? Let's say right now in Dota 2, is there an in-game currency that you earn to buy skins?
No.
Okay, so you can only buy skins with real money.
Yes and no. Okay, so the way it works in Dota 2 is that sometimes an event comes around that gives you a free skin, but all the skins that are given to you in Dota, they're like god awful. They're like fucking trash. And so sometimes you get a cool skin and it's just untradeable, so you can't sell it on the market to get something that you want. So in the case of Dota 2, like you play 10 games and then you get like a random drop, and that random drops are like you get like a 99% of the time you get trash. It's just trash. Right. It looks awful.
Just like with Overwatch loot boxes where it's like 99% of the time you're getting 2 silvers and a blue, and half the time those are things you've already gotten.
Right.
But anyways,
sometimes in 1% of the time you will get like this cool little skin, but it's untradeable and you can't use it. And because there's so many fucking heroes in Dota 2, you're almost guaranteed to never, like you could play at 2,000 hours, you will never get a skin for a hero that you play that you want to get. It's just not gonna happen. But guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
So
I've never talked to a Dota player and that comes up to me and goes, "Man, I'm really upset that I can't grind for this." Not fucking once have I had that happen to me.
Which is because I think, and this is the thing, like I think that Dota 2 did a good job with designing that. They did a good job with like, well, we're just going to make the RNG skin stuff not really that great, so nobody will complain about it. The problem is that, and this is one of the big problems with Overwatch, is if they did change it, now I don't know. I've booted the game once, literally just to make sure that I could run it. Make sure that it didn't have any right after I ended up downloading it the day of, but I haven't played it at all. Anyways, in the original Overwatch game, like I said, so there were loot boxes and also the store, and you earned currency by playing the game. Like you just got currency by opening loot boxes. Loot boxes would sometimes give you that currency, or you would get items that you've already gotten before, and by getting item that you already gotten before, instead of getting the item, you would get a small amount of currency. I don't know what they called that currency. I never paid attention really. And then all of the skins in the shop were available using that currency. And then sometimes you had to buy like during certain times. So like, for example, there were Halloween skins that are only available during the Halloween event. And then once the Halloween event is over, they go away. But when the event is open, all of the Halloween skins are available for purchase in the store.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna summarize this whole conversation that we've had about skins.
So I'm asking a question because did they change that? Did they remove people's ability to earn skins by playing that they want?
I'm gonna answer that real quick with a simple I don't know. Because I've played Overwatch and I've played like 50 games or so. No, not that many. Probably 30, 40 games so far. And not once have I gotten like a little prompt telling me that I got a skin or a currency or anything. I've gotten the dailies. I've gotten the dailies that show up that, oh, you completed this and that for the battle pass, and then sometimes I grabbed something from the battle pass, and that's it. Right? I've gotten one fucking skin from the battle pass because I didn't buy it. I'm like in the free to play category of or section of the battle pass instead. Right? But no, I don't know. I have no idea. But just going back to this, I'm gonna summarize this whole issue, quote unquote issue, with it. It's just that right now, whoever came up with skins in League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch, they're all laughing their asses off. Because why? Because they've made this shit feel like it matters. And that's the biggest victory. So us talking about this, people missing loot boxes or hating loot boxes, this whole debacle about cosmetics, it's just way too relevant than what it needs to be. It's that simple. Especially now that you brought up Dota and I started thinking about this. It's like, okay, or even Counter-Strike, actually. I'm going to give you an even earlier example. When CSGO came out, I had really fucking expensive skins that I got from like the very, very early cases. And also stickers, when the stickers came out. When the stickers first came out, the first capsules, they were 1 cent each on the store. And I bought like 40 of them for like literally 40 cents plus taxes. Then I forgot about them completely. I never opened them. Fast forward a few years later, each of these capsules is worth $1. So I mean, like, and what I did is, when I logged back into CSGO after quitting, I just sold all my skins and bought other games. It's just that simple. To me, it doesn't fucking matter. And it's surprising to me that there's so many people out there who think that it matters at all. Yeah. Guys, if I were to log into Dota and fucking Gaben comes into my account, deletes every single one of my cosmetics, sure, I'll be a little upset. But I'm still gonna play Dota. I'm still gonna have fun. I'm still gonna have just as much fun as I would have otherwise. Guys, it's just not important. It's just not a big deal. But these companies want to make you, the consumer, feel like it is important. They want you to feel like it matters. They want you to feel that way. Because when they trick you into thinking that it matters, guess what? Then you start rationalizing that it's okay to spend $20 on a skin. Yeah. Bro. Yep, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. It is stupid. If I had a choice between 3 Overwatch skins and a brand new AAA game, I'm gonna fucking pick the brand new game every single time. If you are the kind of person who sits there and has the option again of, do I want to buy 3 Overwatch skins or do I want to buy a brand new game, you have a problem. You either like Overwatch way too fucking much for your own good, or you have a problem. Yeah, and this I problem that doesn't have a name because it's the boogeyman, right? Let's call it the boogeyman of skins, the cosmetic boogeyman. I like that. Let's skip it. It's this cosmetic boogeyman that these companies have created, and they don't mention. Yeah, because it's beneficial for them that this boogeyman stays nameless. Yeah, they want you to think that it matters. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, and I think that is my problem with this is Overwatch is they are doing that in a very toxic way in their transition to Overwatch 2.
And the reason why is because they've already gotten a bunch of people tied into the idea that the skins matter. Yeah. And now I just asked in a Discord server about this. So the answer is yes, there is a currency. Yes, every skin is still available in the shop, just like it used to be. And they do have the event skins, just like it used to be. However, the rate of earning the currency is so much slower than it used to be that you're going to have to wait months of playing to be able to even buy one skin. So I think that's the complaint, is that it used to be like you play, you know,
you play a little bit,
yeah,
and then you get like a few loot boxes. I remember.
A couple of games a week, and you earn a loot box or two a day, and you open up your loot boxes, and maybe you get something good, maybe you don't, but you're likely to get currency that you can then turn into a skin. So one of the things is they've changed the economy, but they didn't change the value of the skin. They changed, at least psychologically, they just made them harder. They made them harder to acquire, which actually does the opposite. It makes it feel like they're more important. And so they're doing that in a very... So this is... Yeah, my problem is not really with the players. My problem is still definitely with Blizzard. It is the fact that they've made decisions here. Yeah, it's not with the consumer. It's not the consumer's fault. It's not the consumer's fault.
I think it's the consumer's fault.
I don't think it's the consumer's fault.
Listen. If tomorrow Blizzard announces that now all skins are worth $100, every single one of them individually costs $100. If they do that, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna log into Overwatch when a friend wants to play, and I'm gonna play.
I would have more respect for them if they did that. I would have more respect for them if they did that. Because what they would be doing then is they would be saying, our skins are worth this much to us. You pay for them what you want. Like, if you want a skin, and then everybody in Overwatch, or most of the people in Overwatch who don't just have willy-nilly expendable income, are probably going to be like, well, fuck it, I'm just not going to have skins. That's fine. Exactly. The problem is that they haven't done that.
But hear me out. Technically, they kind of did, because $20 for a skin is egregious, as is, in my opinion.
I disagree. I disagree. I don't think $20 is egregious for a skin for a free game. I don't think that $20 has ever been egregious for a skin for a free game, because they have to make their money somehow. And we already talked about the fact that the amount of time that goes into making a free game is so fucking insane, and they don't get money from it except from the cosmetics. So I disagree. I don't think that 20
context here. Overwatch is not a new game. They already cashed in so much fucking profit out of it. But,
yes.
Okay, proceed.
My problem, like I said, once again, my problem isn't with the consumers. Because here's the thing. You could say, yeah, well, just vote with your wallet and don't spend money on skins. Yes. But that's not going to make Blizzard change the way that they market skins, the way that they try to get people to buy skins.
Okay. I think the problem is indeed with the consumer, because at the end of the day, no one at Blizzard HQ is grabbing your wallet. But Dota 2 does the same shit. Hold on. And
Dota 2 does the same shit. The difference is that you are old enough in Dota 2 that you've been playing since the skins didn't matter. And now they do. And I think that if you talk to new Dota players, they will have a different view. Yeah, they will. You don't talk to new Dota players very much, do you? Because I have.
Oh my god.
Because I've played Dota with newbies before, because I'm a newbie in Dota.
Hear me out. Dota skins are their own kind of weird thing. Okay, first off, right now,
you said to me that you have friends who regretted not spending hundreds of dollars on the battle passes. Hundreds of dollars. That is toxic.
That is absolutely toxic. Yes.
Yeah. But so Dota 2 does the same shit that Overwatch is doing, that League is doing, that CS:GO has been doing. So my problem is not with the consumers, because you make, for the same reason, nobody is taking your wallet. You don't have to buy the skin.
Hold on, hear me out.
My problem is that the gaming companies are making you feel like you have to buy the skin. And that level of emotional manipulation is toxic. And that is coming from the game companies, not from the consumer.
Okay, so I think it's still the consumer's fault. Just to like... Okay, let's first start with the whole my friend who I talked to about regretting not buying a battle pass. Yeah, they do regret not having the skin, but they don't cry about it like 24/7. As a matter of fact, it was just one little comment that they made, and it was in a joke because I was playing the hero with the skin that they wanted, and that was just poking fun at them, like, look at it, I have the skin, you don't have the skin, right? I was fucking with him a little bit. Guess what? 30 seconds afterwards, it's forgotten. Yeah. Because that's how little it matters to both of us. Now, hold up. I have spent well over $100 in Dota 2 skins. I have. Yeah. But in my defense, and like I mentioned before in the past, I've played Dota 2 since I was like 9. I still play Dota 2, and I still will continue to play. For me, I get a lot of value out of this. Especially because in a game like Dota 2, what I'm looking at most of the time is my fucking hero. All right? So I don't feel bad about buying a $30 skin on a game like Dota 2, because I know, first of all, I'm going to get my enjoyment's worth of it. And second of all, it's a game where I spend my time staring at my goddamn hero most of the time, which is very, very, very different from Dota, from Overwatch 2. Now, let's take it back. Why do I honestly think it is the consumer's fault, right? And it's not just bought for your wallet. Listen, dude, if someone in high school comes and starts bullying you and you just take it and don't do anything about it, he or she is going to keep fucking bullying you. It's the same thing with companies here. The bully is at fault. The company is at fault for pressuring you into wanting to buy this. But it's your responsibility as an individual to stand up for yourself and say, no, I don't want to engage with this. At the end of the day, what I mean is the bully is not, the Blizzard's not forcing you to swipe your credit card. But people do, and they complain like they should. But they shouldn't. People let them get affected by this a lot. Yeah, you sure. We were talking about how loot boxes affected younger audience and the addicts, right? In the case of children, in the case of very, very young children, sure, they don't like the emotional maturity to control themselves, so they are more prone to getting addicted to something like a loot box, to a gambling loot box, right? But when you're an adult, it's expected of you that you want to take care of yourself, that you want to do what's best for you. And the only person responsible at the end of the day, as an adult, the only one responsible for your happiness is you alone, right? So that's why I think it is the consumer's fault. Because again, it's not the little kids stealing their mom's credit cards who are giving Blizzard money. It is young adults with dispensable income that make the bulk of the money that Blizzard makes. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what matters most here. You in your late 20s, early 30s, or maybe somewhere around there, you who have this disposable income, control yourself. Don't buy a $30 skin for a game where you don't even stare at the skin. For a game where you're gonna play the hero maybe fucking 1 hour a week, and then that's it. And the game is so new too. Like, I don't even know. Yes, when I look back at Dota, and look at all the skins that I have on that game, well, the most expensive skin are probably the Battle Pass skins that I spent like $150 to get to those skins, right? I still play with those heroes to this day. Right now, in the current battle pass, there's Razor and there's Boyd. Boyd has the coolest skin. I remember sending it to you. I don't want the Boyd skin. I'm not gonna go for it, but I do want the Razor skin. So I'm probably gonna do that and get it because this Razor is a hero. I fucking play all the goddamn time. I love playing it as an offlane, right? So that's just it. I'm getting sidetracked here, but at the beginning of the day, guys, as an adult, you are responsible for your own well-being. If you fall prey and become addicted to loot boxes, responsibility falls on you, not Blizzard, not the gaming company, not the casino. You, the adult who swiped the credit card, you are responsible.
Here is something that I think is funny, is what are the reasons that you think loot boxes are bad? Mm-hmm. I just want to ask you a question. What are the reasons that you think loot boxes are bad, right?
Okay.
They are
give you an example
that they prey that they prey on children who have lack of impulse control and addicts who have lack of impulse control. Okay? Right. Okay. That's why you think loot boxes are a bad mechanic. But the statistic is that the number of people that are actually preyed on by loot boxes financially, addicts and children who have lack of impulse control, very small percentage of the people.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah, so the thing is that you disagree with loot boxes for the minority, for the people who have lack of impulse control, for the people who can't control themselves, okay? You already said that. You have said that in the previous podcasts. I am making the extrapolation that the same predatory practices that are being taken into loot boxes are now being used in different ways outside of loot boxes. Those same predatory practices, the same exact psychological reward mechanism that is used in loot boxes, the Skinner box, by the way, which I can talk about psychologically, is exactly what they are using to get people to buy skins in all of these games. It's the exact same principle. It's just not RNG anymore. That doesn't make it better. They are still preying on the people who have lack of impulse control. They are still doing that. 150%. And here is the thing. You say, well, just control yourself. Sure, just control yourself. But that's for the majority. The majority of people can control themselves. And the majority of people choose to buy the skin. And I would argue that most of those people probably aren't going to complain incessantly about the Overwatch loot system. The people who are complaining about the Overwatch loot system are complaining because Overwatch changed the system. They changed the system from where, all right, it was easy to earn skins. It was easy to get them. And yeah, maybe a lot of them weren't that good. And yeah, maybe a lot of them people didn't want, which is how it was. But they changed the system so that it is now significantly harder to earn skins, which actually makes the value of the skins increase psychologically. So they are literally doing the same thing. They are still preying on those same people to make money. And the thing is that the irony is that they're not even giving them a free way to do that anymore.
To do it.
Which is the thing. That's the problem I see here in Overwatch 2, is they have removed the ability to earn the currency at a consistent, reliable rate, to be able to earn the skins that you want without spending money. That's what they've done.
But what is the problem at hand here? Okay, what I'm asking
it would be like if Dota 2 suddenly were like, you know what? No more free skins. No more. You have to spend money. The only way to get skins in Dota 2 is to spend money. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not how it is. Okay. You can earn skins for free. They're RNG skins in Dota 2. Trash, and you said that they're so trash. But some of them you can sell.
For pennies.
And some of them you can get the skins that you want. Sometimes. Not reliably. But it would be like if Dota 2 went and said, no more free skins. And also, the Battle Pass is not going to have as many skins. And also, all of these other changes. And also, like, yeah. God. And also, you know what? Yeah, the Battle Pass isn't going to be as good anymore. We're just not going to put as much effort into it. The skins aren't going to be as good. Yeah, that's what they've done. That's what Overwatch has done. It's they have lowered the quality of what they're affording their players while increasing the price. That's what they have done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the problem I see. And that's the problem I see is it and once again, that problem that people are complaining about psychologically is still predatory. It's still predatory because what they've done is now they've gotten people tied into emotionally wanting these skins, which they've already done, right? They already made that choice. They already participated in a predatory tactic. And now they've made it impossible or very, very, very difficult for people to be able to, we'll say, fulfill the emotional need that Overwatch has already placed, right? They've already engaged with people on that level. And they know that. They are aware. And now they've made it impossible for people to actually fulfill that. That's the predatory part of this. The predatory part of this is that they have already played into the system, and now it's like League realized they'd already played into that system, and you know what they did? They made a rather reliable loot system,
right?
Using RNG, and
here's the thing.
It's crappy, but
hold on.
It's not as bad as what Overwatch 2 has done.
That's true, but here's the thing. Here, in my opinion, we're kind of talking about degrees of evil, right? Like there's the whole, Witcher 2 quote where it goes, if you have to choose between the greater evil or the lesser evil, I'd rather not choose at all. That's kind of like what I'm trying to say here. It's not one-to-one, but the problem, like you mentioned, is that it's less reliable to acquire these resources to get skins. I get that. You're right. I don't disagree with you. But that's not the issue. That's not the problem. The core problem is, again, these companies have made us believe that this matters.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why the fault is with the company, not with the consumer. Because it was the company's choice to make them believe that the skins mattered to begin with.
But of course
to make money.
But of course they're gonna do that. Of course, everybody.
No, they don't have to do that.
Hold on.
Dota 2 didn't do that.
Oh my God,
Dota 2 is an example of a game that didn't do that and is still around.
Hold on. I can't even get a word in, Tuli. Relax.
I let you rant for a long time. And now I'm making counter arguments of, you brought up Dota 2. Dota 2 is an example where skins are less emotionally impactful because of the way Dota 2 has designed their loot system.
Okay, well, we're going in circles
so
here.
Dota 2, no, we're not going in circles. We're getting somewhere. Because my example is Dota 2, Valve, right, or the Valve team that created Dota 2 created a system wherein the emotional requirement, quote unquote, for skins is less. Right? They don't want them to be as important in their game. Dota 2 has made skins less important in their game. That was a choice that they made. And at the end of the day, the problem that I see here is exactly what you said. Dota 2 has not made people feel like they need the skin. Overwatch has made people feel like they need the skin.
I don't agree with that.
Personally,
I think it's a kind of like demographics kind of thing, because the people that play Dota are older adults, are people in their late 20s, late 20s and 30s, like teenagers, right? When we're talking about people that are still in high school and people who are just getting into college, right? If you ask them if they play Dota, 99 out of 100 times they're gonna say, "What the fuck is Dota?" Right? But if you ask them what's League, they are gonna know what League is. Dota has a different demographic altogether, but it's because of this different demographic that Dota you can kind of feel that Dota can get away with it, But Dota has been just as egregious, if not even more egregious than Overwatch 2. I was laughing my ass off how you mentioned that the example of Overwatch 2 having a battle pass that gives less shit was exactly what happened with Dota 2. This battle pass has been the absolute fucking worst battle pass in 5 years for Dota 2. It's just so trash, and I know because I spent money. I spent money on the last 3 battle pass, and then I saw this one. I'm like, holy shit, this one is fucking garbage.
Yep.
Any Dota player who has been playing for the past 5 years and has been in the battle pass can tell you that we just know we just get less skins, with less goodies, less stuff for the same price. But guess what? We just don't buy it, and I can back this up because this battle pass has also been the least bought battle pass. And that's what I'm trying to bring up with the whole, it feels like it's a demographic thing. Simply because the people who play Dota 2 are older players who have that self-control, who realize, this sucks, I'm not gonna buy it. And then they don't. Right? And the whole thing, again, I do, honest to God, think that it is the consumer's fault. And when I say that it is the consumer's fault, I'm not trying to flame people. I'm not, okay, sure, I did call someone stupid earlier today, but it's just an example. It's just a generalization, right? I'm saying this because sometimes you need somebody to tell you you're being an idiot so that you can stop, analyze yourself, and become better. That's what I'm trying to do here when I say it is the consumer's fault. You guys need to stop, analyze what you're actually doing with your money, and think more thoroughly about the value proposition, quote unquote value proposition here, and realize that there is no value. Whether you have a skin or not doesn't change anything when you're playing Overwatch. That's the whole thing. And
yeah.
But like you said, we both come to agreement. They want you to feel it's not, and at this point the conversation is no longer just about Overwatch 2 skins. It's about companies in general. Of course, a video game company wants you to make you feel like you need to spend money. Of course they do. They have entire departments of people with college degrees on this shit that tell them, yes, make your game free to play and then get them hooked into skins, because from a numerical standpoint, that's what's going to make them the most profit. Guys, and I don't want to, I know that it's kind of dehumanizing when I say this, but if you jump into a Shark Tank, you're probably going to get bit if you don't know what you're doing. It's the same thing here. If you play Overwatch, you should have an expectation that Blizzard is going to want to do their darnest to make you feel like you need to buy and spend money in this game. But it is your responsibility as a consumer to realize that pressure is to be expected and not fall for it as easily. Or maybe you do and you're okay with that. It changes between person to person because every person has different amounts of disposable income. Everybody have different jobs. Everybody has different responsibilities in life. Everybody makes different amount of money or can spend more money or spend less money on video game skins, right? That's the core of the argument, is that look at yourself, look at what you can and cannot spend, and be responsible and own up to your expenditures, right? Ideally, in a perfect world, Tuli, where everybody's innocent, lovely, and never sins and lies, the Blizzard is gonna make Overwatch 2 ask you for $60 and give you all the skins to you through an achievement system where you can feel like you've earned it. Right? But guess what? We don't live in that world. We live in the world where companies want to make the most possible amount of fucking money that they can do. So instead you're going to get a free-to-play game, and then they're going to pressure you into spending cosmetics over time with microtransactions. Right? So you want to say something? If you want to interrupt me, please go ahead.
I did want to say that I just looked it up, and it's really hard to find statistics because gaming companies generally don't release them. But based on surveys The average player age of Dota 2 is actually 5 years lower than the average player age of Overwatch.
What?
The average player age of Dota 2 is 21, and the average player age of Overwatch players is 26.
I don't know about that one.
That's what the statistics say. That's what the surveys say. And they're on Reddit.
That's interesting. I figured that it would be a lot more older people because all my friends that I played Dota with and all the people that I end up talking to in Dota, they feel like they're young adults. Like, again, just like in that 20 range.
I would agree with you, except I would agree with you, except for this. Most of the gamers your age who I know, in America at least, did not start playing video games, playing MOBAs. They started playing video games, playing first-person shooters, playing Halo, playing something like that, which Overwatch is significantly closer to.
Getting skewed. I forgot. In Dota is most popular outside the US. But Overwatch
that is true.
Most popular in the US. So Dota, for those that don't know, the way Dota became like a thing is because it was a Warcraft 3 mod. And Warcraft 3 is one of those, the most, like, in the 2000s, is one of, like, the most CD-cracked games that you could just get from the internet. And people would play that, right? So that's how Dota kind of became popular. Is like that. So, for fun fact, again, I'm going to reiterate, in the US and Western Europe, and Canada and like this area of the world, right, where Overwatch is most popular, if we disregard the massive elephant in the room that is the Chinese market, that's where in this North American area, Dota is not the most popular. It's not. I think it's actually more popular in South America than it is in North America.
Yeah, for sure. But
so that I forgot to think about that too. But in the
same breath, no. What I will say is, I actually also don't think player age demographics is that impactful to this dialogue, and the reason why is because, once again, I'm coming from the perspective of, and once again, I'll agree with you. To some degree, the consumers are at fault for falling for it because there are people out there like you, like me, obviously, who don't feel the emotional need to go buy new skins or the emotional need to do that. We make that decision analytically. However, I will say the level of predatory nature that comes out of corporations that are using emotional tactics to acquire money is very high. And this is not just a Overwatch thing. This is not just a
because at this point, why don't we go protest in front of like Coca-Cola headquarters, right?
Yeah, we're elevating this conversation to much more. Although it must be said, Coca-Cola's marketing tactics to begin with were even more toxic. But so we are getting better.
That's why I mentioned
at the very least, EA is not adding cocaine in with their games anymore. But my problem here, though, is there is still an element of this is predatory. This is not these gaming companies. They are not accidentally stumbling onto, oh, we can get people to buy more skins if we do this. They are architecting tactics to systematically emotionally tie people to things. And the thing is, and once again, I'm coming from a perspective of right now, and this is what I'll say. Okay. First of all, my background in education is network security. Second of all, my background in research is both computers and psychology. I'm not a psychologist by any degree, but I do have a large amount of information that I've squirreled away from that because I've read a lot of studies about psychology and a lot of different elements here. And this is one thing that I will say, coming from what I have read and what I am aware of, is that I'll use this example, even though this one comes out of the political sphere, which is Cambridge Analytica developed emotional advertising for politics with an efficacy of 42%, which means they changed the minds of people using emotional advertising 42% of the time by targeting specific people. And the idea that game companies are not doing that is insane to me. They are absolutely doing that. And the problem is not on the consumer for the decision of the company to do that. Now, once again, people got fooled by it. That's kind of a problem. People need to be educated. They need to be aware. They need to be trying to protect themselves. However, I'm not asking for the system to wholeheartedly protect people because it is impossible to do. There's no system to solve this problem. This is a decision that video game designers and people in marketing at AAA studios that are making free-to-play games with cosmetics have decided to do. And that is my problem, is that there are people who are like, we can emotionally manipulate people into giving us more money.
Yeah. But video games, it's just the newest form of that, you know? Like you mentioned.
But
this is something that's been happening. Now, we don't want to get into the whole... And this is once again, this is where I'm coming from. My perspective is there are video game creators who have made free-to-play games that have been successful who did not do this. Yeah.
That is my problem. Is there are video game creators, and I don't know about Dota 2 if they've ever even addressed the issue, but there are free-to-play games that are successful that intentionally went away from using predatory tactics.
Well, you got to be a little careful when you use the word success, because now now you have to talk about how you measure success, right? You say a video game is successful, but what you might be thinking in your mind, and I'm not assuming this, I'm just giving an example, because I know I haven't let you finish talking, is you got to be careful, viewers, when you talk like that about a free-to-play game did it better and it's still successful, is, well, you got to look at behind the scenes, you got to look behind, and you got to look at the numbers, right? If a video game is successful, how do you measure that? Is it by revenue or by play rate? So the company will only care about measuring success by revenue and not by play rate, right?
I actually disagree with you there. Well, I think there are a lot of games that
cannot get it. Of course, there are going to be games that want people, and they're both important. Of course, they're both important. You want people to play your game, and you want people to spend money in your game. Those are both important. But how do they measure success, and which one they prioritize more, is what I'm trying to get at, right? So you, the consumer, truly, you who play the game, you might look at another game who has a least egregious a form of a free-to-play system, and call it, this game did it different, and it's not as toxic, and it's successful, right?
Yes.
But then, why are other companies not swapping to that immediately? I'm of the opinion that people want to live by each other's graces, that people are born like, in a sense, not evil. We're getting a little philosophical here, but what I'm trying to say is there are people at Blizzard HQ in that marketing team who want the best for their audience, who want the best for the people that play Overwatch. I don't think they're evil. If we bring somebody in if we bring like somebody who designed the prices or had something to do with the prices of Overwatch, I don't think you and I will start fucking going at him, and I don't think that person will come at us either.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he has a job or she has a job, and it's their job to like present, run the numbers and see what the most effective strategy is, right? See what the meta is, right? And that's what they come up with. So I don't think it's necessarily like an evil thing. And this is why
I never said that it was evil. I said that it was predatory, which is not necessarily evil.
Yeah, correct. Okay, I like that actually. Let's go
Yeah.
with that. I like that. So you say it's predatory, right? So would you say that it's like to the same level when you say predatory? If you look at it from its very natural definition of like, a predator hunting for food, then would you say it's within? Oh, I like this. Would you say it's within the nature of these companies to use these predatory tactics?
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's good.
Okay, but you just said but it's not evil either, right?
It's
said
not evil, but it's not good.
So
It's definitely negative. I will say it's definitely bad. It's not evil. It's definitely bad.
But if it's within their nature to do this and it's not evil, and okay, sure, it's not necessarily good either, because at the end of the day, someone has to take the hit, right? Then what's the issue here? Tell me.
My issue is that it is within your nature to benefit yourself above all else.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And
so when a company looks at themselves,
there are times wherein companies and people both have to look at what they want, and they have to understand that they have a moral obligation to fight against their nature to do what is good.
Now we're stepping into a whole philosophical kind of thing, because now we're talking.
It's a little philosophical.
It's a little philosophical, correct? Which is good because that makes for great content for a podcast.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: is the company then? Because you're treating a company like it's a human. It's a company, a human that should have
absolutely.
a moral
absolutely.
Right? Yeah, you should, because companies should not be
a
allowed
company
to do
is absolutely a company is absolutely beholden to morality.
So then the question becomes,
the thing is that it is in the same way, it is within the nature of Overwatch to get people to be addicted to playing their game.
Yeah.
Right? That is within their nature. That is good for them.
That is their agenda.
But it is not good for their consumers. Right? And so now, this is one of those things where it's like, and I think Overwatch has actually done a pretty good job of making their game. It is not super incentivized for you to play 16 hours a day, every day.
Yeah, I agree. I don't.
At some point, Overwatch has made the decision, and it's just like, for a while, you were just earning loot boxes as you leveled up, and I think that was still enacted. However, it was one of those things where it was like, if you wanted to maximize that, it was like you would play like your first 5 games, and then slowly it got less and less easy for you to earn loot boxes. Like there was an XP decrease basically over time. So they basically once again, they fought against their nature. They chose to decentivize players from doing that. That was a good decision that Blizzard made. And I'm here.
We're
from the perspective
Blizzard here. We're giving them the golf clap for taking out loot boxes.
I will honor them for, one, taking out loot boxes, which is a predatory tactic. And 2, I will honor them for, in their original incentivization, in their original assessment of putting loot boxes in, they actually did think about, hey, like, we don't want people grinding to earn loot box after loot box after loot box after loot box. We don't want to do that. So we are going to make it harder and harder and harder for people to earn loot boxes in the hopes that we are decentivizing players from doing that. And we're incentivizing players from playing a couple games, then stopping and coming back tomorrow. And that's what they were trying to incentivize, which is a much healthier way about going down. Now, not necessarily the best, which I'll say, but I think that was a good decision. The decision that they made in removing loot boxes was a good decision. The decision that they made in removing people's capability from earning what they wanted without spending money, and then also not giving them the capability of feeding what they have already set up as an emotional response, was something that people are going to complain about. And I think that that's probably bad. It's probably bad for Overwatch, ironically enough. It's also bad for the consumer, because the consumer who feels an emotional need to go have the new skin and can't earn it in a healthy way, well, they're going to spend money because they don't have the impulse control. And the people who have the impulse control and are going to be annoyed by it are going to complain. So I think that it was a sloppy way of doing that. I think that it was a bad way of doing that, because you are simultaneously preying on the people still without
being gone is good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think loot boxes, especially loot boxes. I think that probably the healthiest way to go about doing this would be change the way that they have the system, but then keep the loot boxes for a while and make them not able to be purchased, and then slowly kind of pull back on that.
I thought about that too, but let's continue. Let's not think of like the little micro decisions here.
Yeah. Anyways, and once again, I will agree with you. Once again, and nobody at the Overwatch marketing board or at the group of people who are making this decision to do things this way, none of them are evil. None of them are necessarily. Well, okay, maybe some of them are evil, but probably the majority of them are simply trying to navigate an incredibly difficult decision. And I respect that. Okay, I respect that. I do think that they could have done it better, but, and I do think that the way that they chose to do it is bad and predatory, but it is within the nature of their company. It is within the nature of every game design company. But once again, like I already said, it is the moral imperative of any organization, because this is what I'll say. It is easier for a group of people to make a bad decision than it is for an individual to make a bad decision.
That's true. I think so. But go on.
And it is easier for them to harm people, especially that minority of people that we talk about, right? The people who are preyed on by this decision. It is easier for them to harm them and to chalk it up to statistic.
Oh, I got a good thing so that we don't bring up this vulnerable group of people when talking about Overwatch anymore. Do you think gambling addicts and young kids can make a bad decision playing Overwatch anymore?
Yes.
With the current system.
Yes.
Right? I'm sure that, they can they can make purchase like $1,000, right? But there's a cap now, because eventually what's going to happen is they're gonna run out of skins to buy, right? With a credit card, right? But with the previous system, I don't think it's that bad. It's not as bad now as compared to loot boxes, because with loot boxes there was no ceiling in a sense as to how much.
No, there was. There was. The ceiling. The ceiling comes because at some point
would be getting everything, right? Yeah.
Well, not even that, because at some point, and most of my friends, by the way, who are once again long-term players who've been playing Overwatch for thousands of hours and have earned thousands of loot boxes in that time, they reached a point where opening loot boxes wasn't exciting anymore. And I know a lot of people who and my friends probably, I won't say gambling addicts, but probably could have fell into that behavior if they had the finances to do so. It became unexciting to open them, because most of the time they would get like one thing, but then the other two items, because the loot boxes had 3 items, right? The other 2 items would be duplicates that would just give them the currency.
Yeah.
And so at some point, opening the loot boxes in Overwatch became unsatisfying, because unlike most other loot box systems, you could earn duplicates, but the duplicates weren't something you could do something with.
Right.
So you earned a paltry and insignificant amount of currency from them most of the time.
At some point, you hit that moment where you don't feel like it's fun to open a loot box anymore, and that's the ceiling that you were referring to earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Which, once again, like, I don't think that's good. Once again, like, I think that loot boxes are a bad mechanic, but it's not like some, like, for example, once again, I think somebody in the chat had mentioned CSGO loot boxes, which are probably the most predatory, or at least were. I don't know how they are anymore.
Bad, dude. They are so bad. They haven't changed them at all. They made them worse.
And the predatory, the huge predatory scandal that came around there was when the people who were in charge of implementing the CSGO loot box stuff originally were streamers, and they were streaming and they were tweaking their earnings on the back end because they had access to the system. Okay. And so they were giving themselves more good items out of the loot boxes while they were streaming to convince people to buy loot boxes.
Yeah.
That was a huge predatory thing that happened in CSGO, which once again,
this is news to me.
Yeah, levels of bad. That was really high on the list. That was people who were literally lying to make money and also lying to emotionally manipulate people to make money, which is incredibly predatory. And I think that there was actually, they broke some laws in that. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but they like went to court and shit like that. And they're no longer part of the company.
You might be thinking of... Wait, no. I don't know, because I haven't heard the story. But are you sure you're not confusing them with like the gambling sites, where the gambling sites would have like their own system of loot boxes?
Yeah, maybe it was one of the gambling sites. Maybe it wasn't people with CSGO.
Sounds like that because I feel like if it was actually Valve employees doing that... First of all, a Valve employee would probably not make access to something like that. They also wouldn't.
Probably Valve's employees don't play the game enough.
Yeah, that's true. They don't give up. They don't care enough. They made the loot system like RNG like fucking 2 decades ago. Yeah. And they left it alone, and they're like, oh well, if it works, it works. I'm gonna go do this.
I think it was one of the website ones. You are correct. You are correct. Yeah. The CS:GO website ones. I forgot. I forgot because you can sell stuff.
Yeah, that's a big difference between Valve's Dota skins.
Shop. Yeah,
there's a big difference between Dota skins and
CS:GO skins and stuff.
And compared to other systems, is that like I said, like I did at the end of the day, if I know I'm not gonna play CS:GO anymore, I'm just gonna sell all my skins and then buy a game and play that instead.
Right.
So that is a difference. Yeah, it was a
it was gambling.
It sounded like that because I feel like if it was actually Valve doing that, it would have been a much bigger deal, and there's no way in 7 fucking hells that I wouldn't have heard of it. So
that is true.
Okay. Yeah, so you gotta be careful. We're professional podcasts here, Tully. You can't be throwing shade to Gabe.
It was not Valve. It was not Valve. It was it was one of the gambling sites. Anyways, so I think that's predatory. But once again, going back to the philosophy here, which is, to me, an organization has to hold themselves. Actually, I would argue they have to hold themselves to a higher standard than an individual.
It's hard, though. It is hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. And the reason for that is, once again, I'll use the saying, a camel is a horse made by committee, right? A camel's not a very good horse. Mm-hmm. But in this instance, what I mean by that is, it is really easy for people who are in an organization to make a bunch of little decisions separately that end up harming people. And that's what's happening in these situations. And the reason why I say, all right, so I would say, to me, in my opinion, the more of the responsibility lies on the companies to attempt to not participate in predatory tactics than it is for the consumers to not fall for predatory tactics.
I think I would agree that in an ideal point of view, because part of me wants to agree with you, right? A part of me says this is how the world should be, ideally speaking. this is how it should be. Another part of me says that is a tall fucking order to grab a bunch of human beings in a stressful scenario, trying to make as much money as humanly possible to do the moral thing. And in a sense, again, like we've mentioned before, they did end up taking loot boxes out of the game. And we've also spoken to about how microtransactions open up the way for people with low income to enjoy and experience AAA games without having to spend money. Because, again, the whales will pay the money and the free-to-play players will get to play the game and everybody's happy, right? So
I will say skins are usually not microtransactions.
I am summarizing here because I don't want to repeat myself for 2 hours straight, referencing a previous episode, right?
Yeah.
So I think part of me wants to agree with you, but I think if it was a final decision in my end, I would say it is still mostly the consumer who is most responsible, right? And like I said, you need to make sure that you're not scamming yourself. Like you mentioned, Tuli, a company wants to do what's best for them, but so does the consumer. The consumer should also have that prerogative or agenda of making sure that they're spending their income in a way that benefits them the most, whether it's spending it or for fun or saving it up or paying bills, etc., right?
Right.
So
and
because of
once
that,
again,
hold on, let me just finish this one thing and then I'll let you talk. Because at the end of the day, no one is forcing you to swipe for an Overwatch skin. Because of that simple fact, I personally think that it is the consumer's fault at the end of the day that if they get taken advantage of by a company who wants to make money. Because again, the conversation then wouldn't end just at loot boxes. We'll be talking about other companies that offer other services and other products, because that's basically literally everything else. Every company, whether it's a soup company, whether it's a car company, whether it's a service company, whether it's a hotel or whatever the hell, wants to make sure that you spend as much money as humanly possible. And it is your responsibility, again, as a consumer, not just an Overwatch 2 player, skin consumer, but just as a consumer in general in our society, in today's society, to spend your money wisely. So, yes, you're right. Ideally, they shouldn't do that. But I still think some of the fault, of course, lies with them, but I think most of the fault lies with the consumer. Right?
Interesting.
That's all I want to say.
Interesting. Yeah. I can see your perspective, and I'll bring up this analogy because you brought it up earlier.
Mm-hmm. So I'm petting my room.
And I think it's a fairly bad analogy, but I'm going to use it anyways because it does make sense, and I'm struggling to think of something else.
Just out with it. It's content.
So you brought up the bully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I knew this was going to get
in this instance, yeah. In this instance, right, you have to stand up against the bully. And we'll say that the bully is the gaming company trying to take your money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is my problem, is in the same essence, right, the fear of being beat up is the emotional manipulation that is going on.
We're not comparing apples to apples here, so watch out with what you're going to say next.
Yeah, we're not comparing apples to apples. This is a very slant analogy because it was a slant analogy.
It's a terrible analogy, like you said. Yeah,
this is a very hard analogy. There are very few analogies that really make sense other than this.
Not an easy topic,
but this is what I will say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is easier to hand over your lunch money than it is to get the shit beat out of you.
That's true. That's true. But guess what? As somebody who suffers with really bad depression sometimes, it's easier to just stay in bed all day and not do anything.
Yeah.
But I still get up more often than not and try to do my best.
Same.
You're right, Tuli. It is not hard. It's not easy to stand up when somebody tries to take advantage of you. It's not easy. But it's also really, really, really important for your own health and for your own just sense of growing up in general, to do the hard thing.
Yes,
and I think I think in a sense, you did hit the nail on the head. That is the core of the argument here. Is it is not easy to not splurge money on a cosmetic. It is not easy to not buy loot boxes. It is not easy to not become an addict to an addictive system. But you should do it. You should.
Yeah, and this is
fight for yourself.
This is where I'll say my kind of like last thing that I wanted to say here, which is what I think should hopefully clarify, because I agree with everything you say except this, which is it is not the fault of the consumer. It is the consumer's responsibility to try to defend themselves. Yes, that is 100% true. And everyone should be doing that. Okay? Okay. I am not saying that you shouldn't do that or that the system shouldn't make you do that. Okay? You have to defend yourself, or at least you have to try. But just in the same sense it is not the person who is being bullied. If they hand over their lunch money to not get beat up, that is not their fault. They could stand up and say, no, I'm not giving you my lunch money.
Okay.
And they may even keep their lunch money. And they may have to run away and live in fear. And that sucks.
It does suck.
It's not their fault.
It's not.
But they should still try to do that.
They should put an effort, at least, I would think.
They should put an effort into it.
A healthy person would,
Yeah. So what I mean by the weight of the responsibility lies on the company. And I do believe they should try to change, which, once again, I will give props to Blizzard. They are trying to change. Respect that. I do. 100%. Once again, we're getting into this conversation where it's like, we have to say, and I'm going to say it again, even though it's like the 12th time this episode, it is a good thing that they've removed loot boxes. That is a good change.
And I think we're underselling here the level of achievement that is. The insane achievement that it is.
Yes.
That Overwatch 2 today, October 29th in 2022, does not have a loot box system right now. It is amazing. Guys, Overwatch became an overnight success when it first came out. It made Blizzard so much money in loot boxes. It's unfathomable just how much money they made in this loot box system in games like, again, Overwatch and Hearthstone. And in other companies too, with like loot boxes, like for example EA is the big one that everybody used to point fingers at. It is insane. This is why it is so important to take a step back and look at this. They're selling skins now for $20 in Overwatch 2, and there are no loot boxes. There is no RNG element anymore. The amount of just nuts that actually is, because of how much money we know they're giving up on, that should be applauded. That should be celebrated more. And sadly, the way we've spoken in this podcast doesn't make it sound that way. But
no, we've talked a lot of negative. We've talked a lot of negative things about Blizzard, which, you know what, sure.
There's a lot of negative things to talk about Blizzard, but
there are a lot of negative things about Blizzard. But once again, props to them. They did an incredibly difficult thing. An incredibly difficult thing. And I respect that. I want that to be known. I think it's a good change, and I think that they are trying to have they're trying to look out for their consumers in a way that very few game developers have in recent history, especially AAA major studios.
Yeah, because I can tell you right now, I don't even have to look up any numbers. I don't have to do anything right now. Overwatch 1 was a $60 game that had loot boxes. Overwatch 2 is a free-to-play game with no loot boxes. I don't even have to look at numbers. I don't even have to hack their database to know that they're not making a fucking fraction of the money that they used to be making with Overwatch 1 system. I don't think anybody is going to stand up and say that that's wrong.
We'll find out. We'll find out at the end of the fiscal quarter.
Maybe I'll have to eat my shoe next fucking episode. We'll have to see, because they are a public company. That's true.
So we can look up. We can find out how much money Blizzard made from Overwatch 2 and see whether or not they were still
profiting
at
the same level.
Yeah, still profiting at the same level and still being predatory kind of in the way. Because that's the thing, is like, they will see, if they did this right, they will see a drop in income.
In revenue, yeah. No, they should. They should see a drop in revenue for sure. But I think that what they're doing now is betting for the long game, which is what they should have done with Overwatch 1 to begin with. They should have realized that if they're gonna, this game blew up, that this game is fun, and instead of thinking of the short-term profit revenue with loot boxes and shit like that, they should have been doing from the start what they did with Overwatch 2, which is think about the long run. Think about
100%.
5-10 years from now, what's gonna be most what's gonna be most beneficial for the company as a whole. And I think that's what's going on is with Overwatch 2. That's what they realize. Guys, we cannot be selling Overwatch 2 for $60 anymore and having loot boxes. This game has stuck around, and it probably still will. So their choice was just to make it free to play, like it always should have been. Because free to play games have more players than $60 games. And that's basically all that Overwatch is. It's a multiplayer game. So this is a beneficial thing.
And the way that free to play games make money is, it's better to have 100 million people where 1% of them spend $10 playing your game, or in Overwatch's case, I think it's like 60 million people where 10% of them spend $10 on your game, than it is to have a couple 100,000 people who all buy your game for 30 or 60 or whatever it is now. But they're hoping that people will continue to spend money, that they'll spend, probably $10 a year, and we'll see how that goes for them. And that's the hope. Now, I do think that the people who are complaining about the prices, we'll see. They might lower the prices. They might at the end of the day realize, they might at the end of the day realize that A, it's better to appease people, and B, also, like, it's better to sell more skins for a lower price than sell fewer skins at a higher price. Especially in the long term. If that's really what they're thinking about. If that's really what they're thinking about, they might lower the prices a bit because
I think it makes more sense now. Like the pricing, I think what they were trying to do is kind of like catch the big sale, like put everything at a high price at the start to catch like people who want to pay actual $20 for a skin, get those guys in, and then in the future lower it to, like, let's say $5 a skin, and now start profiting from the people that are okay with it, because now they will see the quote unquote they're gonna see the quote unquote value proposition. I get it, I got it. If anybody at Blizzard HQ is listening to this podcast, clearly they need to hire us, because we're on top of that shit. Oh my god.
But also, I do think it's going to be funny if that's what happens, because everybody who bought a $20 skin is going to be in paroxysms of anger on Reddit, a day later.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of want to see that now.
I kind of do. Same. So that I can be like, great. I just didn't play when the skins were $20. I just boycotted the game like a good. Just kidding. I didn't. That's not why I'm not playing Overwatch at all.
That's me. I would be all over that. I hope to God a month or two from now that the skins are $5, so that I can or even log in. So like that morning I can log into Reddit and just enjoy the dumpster fire.
Yeah, the vitriolism. Gosh, the even funnier vitriolism for me would be if like some of the skins go on sale and some of them don't, and people are complaining about that too. They're like, my skin. It's like it's gonna be a cycling sale now, like Riot has. That's what they should probably do. I think Riot's skin selling.
I see.
They have a rotation where like I think 10 skins a patch or something like that are just like on sale during that patch for 50%.
That makes sense. That might avoid the dumpster fire. I don't want them to do that because I do want to see angry people on Reddit that morning. I want to just wake up, turn my computer on, grab a nice glass of whatever I have available to me at the time, and just
orange juice.
Just enjoy the flames.
Make yourself a mimosa because it's gonna happen on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That way that all of the nerds are free on Saturday morning to be able to make their rant.
Can't wait, man. Oh,
can't wait.
Reddit never change. You guys keep me alive, I swear.
Reddit, please change. Be better.
Don't change. No, you guys are content. You guys are better than VTubers and streamers. True. You guys are actual fucking content.
Yeah, it's true. We could do an episode where it's just us going to Reddit's.
Yeah.
Reading the insanity. Although I'll have to I don't know, like put a delay on so I can blur, because Reddit is.
That's probably it's probably best to like do that as not as a podcast episode but just a stream. Grab a bunch of like comments, set them ready, and then go through a slideshow.
Maybe yeah. Grab some comments, or maybe we should just do it not live and just have it go on the YouTubes.
That could be it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then we can at least like scroll through Reddit and get the new shit that people are talking about.
Yeah.
And
and one of those new things that I wanted to talk about, but we didn't have the time to because we got so involved into this, is the whole AI art thing.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
We gotta talk about that. It's kind of like we're always like like boomers, man. We're always like a week or two late to this shit, just because of how the scheduling for our podcast turns out.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, is if we talk about it next episode is going to be a month since the debacle started.
I know.
Yeah, and we're already like at 2 hours. Yeah. Oh well, what can you do? Put that one in the pocket for next episode.
Yeah, we'll get the after, I don't know, buzz that doesn't exist, which is why we don't grow, but whatever.
I was right there on the front lines when all this nonsense happened, man. I was like, holy shit.
Well, catch us next time to hear old news.
Yeah, the best old news on this side of the Atlantic.
Yes, we'll have to write that down so we don't forget about that. We mentioned last time that we were going to talk about Overwatch 2 this time. So at least we're on the fake schedule that we set for ourselves.
At least we're like consistent about this, right? We're consistently 2 weeks late to the whole drama thing.
Yeah, which I almost feel more comfortable with, quite honestly.
Honestly, yeah. You know, because when the ashes have, everything has settled down, it's a lot easier to look back and just.
I feel like we're less likely to put our foot in our mouths.
That's true.
But yeah. Oh god.
Anything else you want to mention, Tilly, before we call out the stream, because we're almost at 2 hours?
No, I don't think so.
No, you got it out of your system, and so did
I
I.
did.
But see, I'm the one who's used to getting shit out of my system in the past. Cause
That's true.
This was new territory for you. I am proud
It
of
is.
you, Tully.
It is.
You went ham. You didn't let me talk.
I didn't. I actually I let you talk for a hot minute there. I can scroll back in Audacity to exactly when I let you talk for like 20 minutes.
But that's normal though. I do that, but you normal. Don't. So
yeah.
that's why like I'm glad. It's like, Tully, you need to understand. Just tell me to shut the fuck up more often. You don't. You don't. It's like I'm talking slow because if I was actually really ranting, I would talk a lot faster than this, and I wouldn't let anybody interrupt me. But like, because it's just that's the Asian part of me, right? Like kind of like how I'm doing right now. But just you know, if you find that little spot where I'm like slowing down, just tell me to shut the fuck up.
I tried. There were a couple of times where I was like trying to sneak in, and then I finally got in after like 3 or 4 attempts. But
just tell me, Hallik, shut the fuck up and let me tell you. You're like, okay, sure.
Shut up and let me say.
Say my piece. Say it again.
I'll shut up and let me say my piece, bitch.
Right, go ahead.
I'll try next time.
Let's fucking
Hallik, where can we find you?
Oh man, you guys can find me on twitch.tv/Hallik_VT. I've also gotten more active too on my Twitter now. At Hallik25. That's HALLIK25. So please drop me a follow if you must, or whatever it is that kids do now on Twitter.
Yeah. Drop me a follow as well, because I'm also getting more active on Twitter.
Yeah, you're trying. I see that.
I'm trying. I'm actually making comments on people's shit, especially stuff that you comment on, because I think it's funny.
I am funny.
Should have been the belly. It should have been the belly glasses. It would have been so funny.
There was a Twitter post that they were like, please don't put midriffs. I hate midriffs, and then they posted the belly there. I think you missed that one. Yeah,
I did miss that one. I'll have to go look at that one.
Okay.
Comment 3 days later.
Yeah, actually like 3 days ago. All right, anyways, where can we find you?
Wait, did you shout out your Twitch? All that shit?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I don't know what you shouted out. My ear's not working. You can find me, Cthulhu Tilly, everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, here on Twitch, please drop a follow. I'm trying to get to affiliate someday, so I'm at 32 of 50, which is okay, I guess.
But you need to just stream more, man. You just don't. I
need to stream more. That's really what I need to do. I do just need to stream more. I didn't have the time to do anything this week, which I'm kind of mad about, but we'll see. We'll see about next week, as always, and we'll see about going forward. I'm gonna try to stream more, as always. I did do like a stream 9 days ago on a Thursday or something like that, Thursday night. Mm-hmm. We did a really fun thing. I think it's gonna be a video. I'll post the video on my Discord, where you should also go check out my Discord. It's right below this. It'll also be below the podcast in the description, or in the YouTube video below in the description. Follow us on Discord. It's a great place to get information. It's also fun communities, and we post memes and shit like that. It's a good place. Regardless, where was I going with this? I don't remember. Anyways, follow me there.
Follow
on Discord. If you join the Discord, there will be an announcement, because me and a couple of content creators live streamed it. It's still up on my Twitch if you want to go watch it there. It was a live stream about we went and reviewed Time Machines, and it was really funny. I feel like there were a lot of good moments.
I saw that.
I'm gonna try to post some clips of it on TikTok, as well as on Instagram, and probably on YouTube Shorts. And then I believe that one of the people, Mochi, aka Pastel Pastry Pan, she is going to do a YouTube video. When that comes out, I'll go ahead and do a shout out in the Discord. It's going to be really funny. I think it'll be great. But yeah, I will try to stream more if I can. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And I hope to catch you next time in the void.
Goodbye.
We appreciate you listening to Chatting in the Void with Cthulhu, Tilly, and Hallik. You can find a video version of our podcast on YouTube and our audio podcast anywhere where podcasts are found. Go give Hallik a follow at twitch.tv/Hallik_VT, and please check out any guests we might have had on. You can catch our podcast live at 7 p.m. EST most Saturdays or sometimes Sundays. If you want to know when we are live, please join our Discords linked below. Have a wonderful day, or night, or whatever. Thank you for joining us in the Void. We hope to see you next time.